Hey guys, welcome back to Stop the Shunning. My name is Bethany. In case you are tuning in for the first time, I am speaking today with Amani. Amani is a former Jehovah's Witness. He has his own YouTube channel called Seeds of Awakening, which I will leave a link in the bio below. And basically, on his show or his channel, he talks about spirituality and he interviews different people and what their spiritual journey has been, regardless of what group they came from. Interview some Jehovah's Witnesses also, basically how they woke up and how they're recovering from the organization. And so it was really nice to connect with him. And today he's going to tell us his story. So welcome to the channel, Amani.
Thanks so much, Bethany, for having me. Yes, I was Joe's witness and not so much anymore. So yeah, looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, awesome. So yeah, just give us some more background. Like, did you come from a really hardcore witness family where you kind of half in, half there's so like because there's so many different scenarios. Sometimes it's a mixed bag, so that's why I always ask.
So my family's pretty typical. We went to all the meetings. I got baptized at 12. I did the whole witness thing. I'm from East Palo Alto, California, which is a very urban, I say very urban area. It was like a hood growing up. But there were a lot of youth in our kingdom hall. So I'm from a congregation called Menlo Park in California, which no longer exists in the Bay Area. So I'm from a small city called East Palo Alto, which is really a tight-knit kind of community. So yeah, my mom rather, not my wife, but my mom, she got exposed to witnesses when she was like I was like 7 years old. So they were just doing a door-to-door ministry, and elderly woman knocked on my mom's door. She kind of felt compassion for the woman. So she invited them into their house, and one thing led to another. She ended up having a Bible study. So I ended up like listening in. For some reason, I guess they had Bible studies when I was home from school, because I remember listening in on her studies, which plays a sort of significant role later on in the story. But yeah, my brother and I, we kind of started going to meetings with my mom and going out and field service and doing the whole Jehovah's Witness thing.
Man, what was that like? I mean, you say you were like listening in and everything, but like, was it just kind of like, okay, just go with the flow? And
Yeah,
this,
it was more like go with the flow. So I
okay,
remember my parents were Buddhists when I was really young. I remember going to chanting, and I think NSA was the organization, so they did like the Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And then my mom left that for whatever reason, and then she was like went to a Pentecostal church, so she was looking, she was searching for something, and that's when the Jehovah's Witnesses found her. So
that's when they
yeah, it
came
was.
knocking.
Yeah, so I remember like celebrating Christmas when I was like 6 or 7, and then that was last Christmas. Obviously, I used to play sports, and that all went away. It wasn't like I didn't feel like I was missing out. I never felt I was just kind of like going with the flow though. So about a year, within a year of my mom starting to study with the witnesses, there's a family tragedy though. My brother and my mom and my youngest brother, who was like 1 years old at the time, my grandfather had a hot tub, and we were all hanging out at his house in San Jose. And we were done playing in the hot tub. We were coming in the house, and my grandfather, who was invalid, he was kind of sick at the time. He called my mom, and she went to attend to him. And I remember walking in the house, and my youngest brother, who was like 1, I just went in the house. We didn't really think about him. So, like later on the day, my dad got home from work, and my dad was like, "Where's Robin?" And as soon as he said that, I knew that Robin was back in the hot tub. And we hadn't seen him for like 2 or 3 hours. Like the whole afternoon had passed by. And sure enough, he slipped back in the hot tub and drowned. And I remember my dad carrying his limp body in the living room, kind of clearing his throat, performing CPR. My mom was in the backyard, like losing her shit, like pulling up weeds and like kind of going crazy. And it was pretty dramatic. Ambulance came to my brother to the hospital. But before that happened, I went to my mom. I was like, "Well, Mom, we're gonna see Robin again in paradise, aren't we?" So that was kind of like I think when I said that to my mom, it really put faith in Jehovah or in Jehovah's Witnesses because she was still just studying, but the fact that I kind of was listening and kind of was learning from the Bible studies kind of reinforced to her that this was the truth. So that kind of got her full-fledged into it. So we go out and field service and go to meetings, go to assemblies. And then when I was like 12, my dad got baptized. So he wasn't a witness at first. My dad was a lawyer, and he became a witness later on. And yeah, we're just a family serving Jehovah basically. My parents weren't super strict, but they were pretty hardcore about it, like meetings and field service, and we never missed meetings or anything. We always commented. We were kind of like the exemplary family I remember growing up. So that was our deal.
I'm really, really sorry for your loss.
Understood. Thank you.
After this family tragedy, your family just stayed hardcore Jehovah's Witnesses, basically. You said in California, in Menlo Park
Yeah,
congregation.
yeah, my mom was pretty serious about it. My dad was not a witness. He was an atheist actually when my mom first started studying. So he didn't believe in God, devil, anything. And I remember I had a conversation with him like, Dad, you don't believe in the devil? And he kind of explained it to me. And I felt kind of hurt that he like didn't believe in God, but I mean, it's my dad. And but when I turned like 12, he kind of like warmed up and got baptized. And so we were one happy family serving Jehovah. My dad became a minister servant, and we just became teenagers. So once the teenagers years hit, things kind of changed. Like, there's a beard issue. Like I had a little dirt on my chin. The elders kind of got on me about that. But my dad was always like support us. He bought us music equipment, and so me and my brother we rapped, and he didn't. My dad was like kind of a free spirit, kind of a free thinker, which goes against like Joe's Witnesses. So yeah, I remember when the beauty issue came up, the elders were like, Brother Chandler, you have to tell your sons to shave. You're a minister servant, they have to be exemplary. But dad was like, talk to them about it. He was like, it has nothing to do with me. He was like on our side. So I think I shaved eventually, but yeah, that was the situation. So let's see what else. So yeah, we used to like there were a lot of youth in Menlo Park. There were a lot of youth. So we would hang out, go to parties, drink, like basically we were pretty ruckus and wild youth. Go ahead.
Oh no, no, I was just gonna say I've heard about Menlo Park. So many
Hmm.
and also Trina Patton, who I've had on
Yep.
Stop the Shunning, and she's
Yep.
also from Menlo Park, and I've heard it prior to Trina and you. So yeah, so you tell us more about that. Like what was the deal with Menlo Park? What was up with
I
that?
don't, there was some stuff going on with the elders and like the governing body and like the leadership. Like
Oh, okay.
basically I had moved to DC, so I had finished college. I was like probably on my way out of being a Jehovah's Witness. But apparently the congregation got sold, and there's a big controversy because some of the elders tried to block it and they got disfellowshipped. There's a big to-do over the dissolution of Menlo Park. Kind of was a big controversy. So yeah, just look it up. A couple of elders got disfellowshipped, and one of them tried to get back, from what I understand, but they didn't let him back or whatever. So that was kind of the deal with Menlo Park. Um, there are some questions if there was money laundering going on. There's a whole bunch of accusations going on, which I was not privy to. But my dad, he was the accountant. And I remember that there were some months where he could not balance the books. He'd be like real frustrated, like breaking calculators and throwing his Bible and like so I don't know what was going on at that Kingdom Hall, but there was something fishy definitely with Menlo Park,
Yeah,
especially when the governing body went to sell the congregation.
that's interesting. Yeah, because I never knew the backstory. That's why I'm asking, like somebody who'd been there, and Trina told me some of what had happened based on her story and her experience. So I was just wondering what your experience was.
Yeah, that's what I know. There were a couple elders who were pretty much authoritarians. They were kind of like the leaders. They were kind of, you know how
That
Jehovah's Witnesses are. They're kind of
tracks.
like follow the rules or you get kicked out, basically, is what it is. But my dad was a lawyer, so he was educated. He didn't fall for like all their shenanigans. So I ended up going to college, actually. My brother and sister did as well. My dad was not falling for the Jehovah's Witness bullshit, though. He was like, don't talk to them about it. And like elder never once told me not to go to college. No one ever talked to me about it. I went to community college first for about 3 years and then transferred to the University of Florida where I continued to study broadcasting. And that is, I mean, I was still going out in field service, still going to meetings, going to assemblies when I was in Gainesville. But before I actually went to Florida, about five of us got put on public approve because I remember we were kind of like, well, I won't implicate my co-conspirators. We were, token. And so we all got put on public approval before I left for Florida. That was like what I remember about the Kingdom Hall. There was a lot of youth. We used to hang out. We used to party. We used to like go party on Friday nights and go out and field service on Saturday nights. That was kind of like our deal. Hungover, like groggy, whatever. But that was, we were still Jehovah's Witnesses though. Like, I mean, that's kind of what we did though, as young people.
Right. What I just find so fascinating, like about your father, I mean, or I don't know if fascinating is the word, but just, man, how did he go from like being atheist to a Jehovah's Witness? And then like you said, he didn't put up with the bullshit. Like, how did he stomach that? How long was he a witness?
He was witnessing until about 2002, maybe, is when he got disfellowshipped. But okay, so my dad, his father studied with the witnesses when my dad was a kid, so he's kind of familiar with
Okay.
the letters, at least the JWs. But he never really studied Christianity. So by the time he was like a family man. He was like, well, I didn't really study Jehovah's Witnesses, so let me learn about this religion. So that was kind of what got him in. He was just like studying it like as an intellectual exercise, I think.
Okay, and do you think there was a level of like family cohesion, like this
Yeah,
the
definitely.
fam okay, like
Definitely.
doing
Yep.
the thing as a family
As
man.
a family, yep, definitely.
But your dad sounds awesome. That's why I'm like he like supported you with your music and like creative outlet. And then
Yep.
you went to college and you said he was a lawyer. So like razor sharp and just like I can't you just put all those variables together. It's like
He's very
how could he last in the witnesses?
He's very logical, but if you go to my
Right, right,
channel, I actually interviewed him like a couple months back, and
oh, right,
I
right,
mean, he
right,
was
right.
like, he explained the whole situation. So, yeah, my dad's just a logical guy. He's 81. He plays music now. He's very active.
Good for
He's
him.
very sharp. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He got out.
Yeah, he said
Got
he
out
went
of the cult.
woohoo, and they just felt me say went woohoo. He was celebrating.
His day of freedom.
Exactly.
What was like, okay, so you got approved, you went to college in Florida, you said?
I transferred to Florida, so I went all the way. My dad was kind of resistant at first, but then it was like fine with me going to Florida, and that's where I got my degree from. So I graduated in 1997, and then I moved to DC because I got a job at a TV station. I ended up studying broadcasting in college, and so it's funny because I went to one memorial when I was in DC and one meeting after I graduated from college, and that was it for me. I never went back. Elders have never reached out to me. I basically just so what happened was my published record got sent to Gainesville, Florida. But then after I left Gainesville and graduated, I never talked to the brothers. I just wasn't thinking about it. So I fell out of touch with the witnesses, and then I moved to DC, and then I started to fade. So I had a couple of roommates who were not witnesses, of course, and they were good brothers. And I was like, there is no way they are going to be killed in any sort of Armageddon. God would not kill these brothers. I was like, it did not compute. And then for a news story, I went to a church on a Sunday and they were singing praises to Jehovah. And that like kind of confused. I was like super confused at that point. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was
Okay, I'm sorry. How old were you?
I was like 20, 22 or
22,
23.
and you were working as a reporter.
I was at my first TV station was like an internship. So I wasn't working as a reporter yet.
Okay.
This was I didn't get the on-air job till I was in Tampa. After that, when I was in DC, it was more of an internship.
Okay.
So I was shadowing another reporter, and we were at a mega church on a Sunday, and they were like singing praises to Jehovah, and I was like, "What?" He's kind of like blew me away, but it just got me on my wheels spinning. Like, what's going on? Like, and as a youth, I always questioned the governing body because of the beard rule, because they had the false prophecies of 1914 and 1975. They were always suspect to me anyway. So there was question marks going on in my mind. So I ended up getting a job in Tampa after DC, and that's really when I say I started to fade, though I didn't know it at the time. But
Right.
I wasn't going to meetings, I wasn't going to Kingdom Hall. I was just, living my life. My girlfriend in DC, she ended up moving to Tampa with me. So I was just living like, I guess, a worldly person, though I still kind of consider myself, I guess, a Jehovah's Witness, but I didn't tell anybody. I wasn't going to meetings. I was just kind of just living, working, and doing my thing.
There was no big announcement. There was no big announcement or any kind of hard break. You just kind of went on with life.
Yeah, there
Okay.
wasn't. I don't remember even talking to my parents, like, are you going to meetings, Amani, or anything like that. Like, I don't remember my dad ever talking to me about it. My brother who moved to Tampa, we never talked about going to meetings, going to the Kingdom Hall, anything. We just sort of faded out our minds. So then what happened was I actually got this book, which I just reordered from Amazon because I wanted to revisit it, but it's called The Human Aura. So I got interested in the auras for some reason when I was like in Tampa. And I got this book, and it kind of changed my life because there are mentions of Christ in the book. It's very spiritually written, but it's talking about chakras and auras and incantations are in the book. And there's mention of like reincarnation. It's just real different. And when I read this book, it just sort of got my wheels spinning some more. And I started saying some of the incantations. And I mean, the book is spiritually written because it's written by ascended masters. So there's references to Jesus Christ, ascended masters, the I am presence, the White Brotherhood, Order of Melchizedek. Some of those references are very biblical. So I knew that there was something spiritual about the book. So that kind of got me. That's what really got me. I say that woke me up basically at that point. So that's what happened. It was about 2000, 2003, I think, when that happened. So
Okay.
that's what got me. like head off in my outer space direction that I'm in right now.
Gotcha. So, I mean, like, because you're this way from 7 years old, you know, being a Jehovah's Witness, and then all of a sudden, like, this new worldview kind of just into your brain.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was like, that was the turning point, reading like something else spiritual
Yeah, that was
that
I
was
was
so far different from being a Jehovah's Witness. Was
yeah,
it
it was
was it that you felt? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that you felt like more of an intuitive connection, like this feels more like me, or was it other things about the organ? You said things about like you had some doubts. So what was like? Was it kind of a combination? Sometimes just a
so my
combination.
I thought was, oh, these Jehovah's Witnesses are on some bullshit. I was like, they're obviously not telling us everything. First of all, is what I was saying. I was like, well, what I thought was that they didn't know everything. So what I thought was that Jehovah's Witnesses didn't have the whole story, is what I felt like. They just had it kind
Okay.
of wrong, is what I felt like. I just felt like they just didn't know. And what I thought was that there's other information out there that could help explain life and that, what's going on in the universe, is what I kind of felt
You weren't
intuitively.
you weren't getting the answers
Yeah.
from the organization, clearly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to meetings at all at this point. So I was already I was like basically a worldly person anyway. So, but I was still very, spiritual minded, definitely.
Oh, of course, because the two are
Hmm.
completely separate. I mean, I think you can attest to this whenever you're raised as a Jehovah's Witness, that is the definition. I have to tell this to the audience. I always say things that we would know, but in case
Right.
somebody's listening for the first time, they may not get it. Jehovah's Witnesses believe they have the one truth of the universe.
Yes. They believe
Everyone,
that they're the chosen religion of salvation, being saved and salvation out of all the whole, basically out of the whole world, basically.
everyone else is wrong, and yeah. So that's wild.
But even that belief in itself should tell you that something that they're not right, right? That
Exactly.
that that belief in itself should raise some flags, I think.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Well, we can't know everything. We
Yep.
just can't. And the constant arrogance and then the new light and then the changes. Speaking of which, some of these changes, I have so many things going through my mind. Hold up, back up. Let me think about something for a second. You had faded. You were reading, these spiritual books and or books about spirituality, however you want to word it, and you're having this spiritual awakening. So, like, how did your family react to that? Did you talk to them?
I didn't
Did
talk to them. I was just, my wife thought I was going crazy. That's about it. I
Okay, so
mean,
you were married by this time.
yeah, I was married
Okay,
by this time. Yep.
gotcha.
Um, but
She thought you were going crazy.
yeah, she thought I was going crazy. I showed her some stuff in the book. She was like, "What are you talking about?" She didn't get it all. But my wife's not a very religious person either, so I wouldn't expect her to be. But I was trying to wake her up. I guess this new information that the Bible basically doesn't tell the whole story, and she wasn't getting it. But it's all good. Like we're
Gotcha.
still married, so it's all good.
Okay, so she was a witness.
No, she was not.
Oh, she was not a witness. She just thought you
No.
were going crazy for other reasons. Okay.
Yeah, she thought I was just going crazy. Period. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm laughing because it's usually a Jehovah's Witness spouse that's like, "What are you reading?" And they're getting nervous about whatever their spouse is awake, having their awakening.
No,
That's
I'm
what
always been pretty supportive of whatever I
okay.
do. She actually went to that last memorial that I went to like in 1998. My wife accompanied me. We were dating at the time. It was in DC. And I remember a sister walked up and was like, "Well, are you a witness?" And my wife was like, "No." And the sister was like, "Well, it's never gonna work then." And
Right,
here
right,
we
right,
are all
right.
these years later, still married with a
Great.
17-year-old. So yeah, we
Right,
worked
right.
out.
Yeah, you worked it out somehow.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, happiness outside of the organization.
Which also tells you that, I mean, being uneven and yoked does not necessarily always matter. Like it doesn't. It's like
Yeah,
whatever.
that's a whole thing. There's so many miserable marriages in the Jehovah's Witnesses. That
Exactly.
because and I've talked to other guests about that. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but it's usually just like, do they check this box, or is he an elder? Is he a
Let's get
minister?
married so we can have some sex, so we won't this fellowship and be in bad standing. That's
Yes,
what it is. Let's just speak the
exactly.
truth.
Let's just speak the truth. Exactly. Yeah, they want to get laid, and can you blame them?
Yeah,
They're
that's a bad move though. I'd tell
of
anybody
course
that's a bad
of
move.
course it's a bad move, but premarital sex is a punishable offense. you know? So
Yeah,
and that's a whole other thing that like, that if that's your value system and you want to wait for marriage, it should be your choice to make, not because
exactly.
being pressured by by the elders and your parents, and you have this constant like fear mongering and sexual repression.
Yeah.
So but because that's how they are, they're under the thumb. That's why you got all these 17-year-olds, the
They're
second
under
they
the
turn
thumb,
18.
and then the snitch culture is so strong in Jehovah's Witnesses. Like I was watching
It's terrible.
I was watching a show with my son the other night, and like little kids were like, I'm telling. I was like, wow, the Jehovah's Witnesses are just like little kids. Because as soon as you do something wrong, they are telling on your ass.
Exactly.
Hmm.
I'm glad you brought up snitch culture. Because that's what I get. I think that's what I'm curious about is the fact that you were fading.
I was in Florida, like I was living my life as like a broadcast. I was a
Oh, that's right. Because
broadcaster. I worked.
you weren't attached to a congregation.
No, not at
Okay.
all.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was in attached to a congregation. I didn't know where the Kingdom Hall was. My brother and I mean, when he moved to Florida, when my brother moved to Florida, he brought some weed with him. I remember smoking, like we would smoke and like chill out and play video games. We was just like doing whatever, just like living however. But yeah, we weren't going to the Kingdom Hall. My brother was baptized, but we never discussed it. Like it never came up in conversation. We just kind of like stopped being Joe's Witnesses, basically. And the elders, like, I mean, the congregation in Gainesville, Florida, that wasn't even my home congregation. My congregation in California,
right, right,
they
right.
no longer exist. So that's it. Like I'm free.
Home, home
Man,
free.
I'm home free without ever a judicial meeting.
So okay, so that's it. So you never got disfellowship,
Mm-mm.
no disassociation, nothing like that. Okay,
Nothing,
just moved on
nothing.
with life. Cool.
Yep.
So,
I still
um,
have a lot of my youth friends from my youth. We're still friends. Even my friends who are elders are like, well, we can talk to you every now and then because we can talk to people who've been removed now. So it's okay for us to have conversations. They don't know that I'm creating apostate material, but they won't even look at it. Like I sent my elder friend a link to one of my videos. He would not look at it, and he still talks to me. Go figure.
the cognitive dissonance, man. The cognitive
Exactly.
dissonance. Yeah, so but I find it all, I'm sorry, Monty, this cracks me up. I find it funny that you went off, you did your own thing, moved on with life, no formal
Mhm.
changes or punishments or anything like that. But like it's been so long and they've changed.
And now you
that-
can go to college. Now you can wear beards. Like everything that I used to get in trouble for is okay now. That
Right.
lets you know it's bullshit,
Of
basically.
course, of course. But what's funny is that you were out for so long that this is how the Jehovah's Witnesses are. Certain things are truth. It's truth. It's truth. And then you're out for just enough time that you miss the window
Hmm.
to where now you can speak to somebody because you're technically my point is they've changed their rules and
Exactly.
their procedures. In other words, if you had been out for 2 years and somebody from Menlo Park or California had caught you or seen you or whatever, it would have been like, oh, look at him with
They're
his,
gonna shun me. They're gonna shun
they're
me.
gonna shun you. And then
Hmm.
yet so much time has passed and they've come full circle to where
And
now
now the story is flipped. It's not like old school again. Now they're like, oh, we can still talk to you though. Amani, you can still send us text messages every now and then. They're like, we'll still talk to you. It's
so
crazy.
what's up with your family now? Like where is everybody dispersed or like so what happened? So did your I mean like you moved on with life, your brother moved on with life, and so your dad was disfellowshipped. What about your mom?
Yeah, my mom passed in 2001.
Okay.
So she was gonna disassociate before she passed though. And my dad encouraged her not to because she was kind of ill. And my dad was like, look, your only friends who visit you are not gonna be able to visit you anymore. So don't disassociate yourself. But she had gone full circle with the religion as well. She was kind of done with it. So the channels kind of all kind of moved on. We kind of all just holistically, organically, whatever you want to call it, woke up individually or collectively. I don't know how it went, but we all kind of had our realization that this shit is, well, I don't know if you cuss on your channel, but
Oh, go for it.
this shit is not the
That
truth.
ship has sailed. That
Yeah,
ship has
exactly.
sailed. Anyone who watches
Exactly.
me, and if you don't like it, unfollow. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, so that was it. I want to say 2002 is when my dad got his fellowshipped, and the brothers basically just fellowshipped him for having a funeral for my mom that was not at the Kingdom Hall because my mom didn't want to have a boring ass. She quoted my dad quoted her and said, "Jan did not want to have a boring ass Jehovah's Witness funeral." So my dad had it at a local funeral hall. It was not at another church. It was just at a funeral home. There are other people, friends of my mom, who spoke, and some brothers and sisters, I guess, were stumbled because of that. And they went, had a meeting with my father and were like, "Well, Brother Channel, why did you have this funeral for your wife?" And they were like, "Well, because she didn't want to have it in the Kingdom Hall. She just didn't." And him being a lawyer, he was like, thinking my mom is like a client, and like if he's working for a client, he doesn't care about his personal views. Like he's just carrying out her wishes. So the elders had a meeting with him and ended up disfellowshipping. I don't know what the basis was, but basically they said, we don't know what he's gonna do if he comes back. So I guess there was some fear in my dad's kind of actions. They probably knew that he was rebellious and that he was like a rule breaker, not really a conformist. So yeah, they disfellowshipped him. And once my dad was disfellowshipped, I was like, I was good with being a Jehovah's Witness. Um, I was like not feeling it anymore. Like I was like good.
I'm sorry. I gotta like I apologize, Amani. I have to let something sink in.
Hmm.
I gotta let something digest. So your father was disfellowshipped. They gave him shit because of your deceased mother's wishes to have
Hmm.
her funeral, not
Not the Kingdom
at
Hall.
at a boring ass Jehovah's Witness funeral. And I mean, yeah, at a
Y-
Kingdom Hall.
Right.
And that's why that just, um, I want the whole audience to take that in.
Yep. That's why.
Just down to the end, man. Just down to the end.
Yep. Be dramatic. Be
No respect.
no compassion. No
No com
nothing.
Yeah, that's why I'm not trying to be dramatic. It literally blows my mind because I did not know that was why your father got disfellowshipped. I think you and I had spoken before, and you told me
Oh
that
yeah.
your father, from our conversations, that he had gotten DF'd, but I did not know that that was the reason why. That it
Yep.
just zero compassion, is so like legalistic and um that's wild. Just the disrespect. I'm sorry.
And
I
the elder that was, and the elder who was on his judicial committee, he got his fellowship when the Menlo Park was dissolved because he's one of the elders that resisted the governing body. So that elder who disfellowshipped my father is now disfellowshipped, ironically.
That tracks. Yep,
Yep.
that sounds about right.
Yep.
Um, welcome to Witness World.
Crazy.
The craziness of Witness World. So, where are you today? How are you doing? Where are you on your spiritual journey?
Yeah, so basically once I got the book, I started meditating and started getting other looking up other information. So I was just continuing on that journey. I'm very much a spiritual person. I'm not religious, though I do go to church every now and then, if my wife wants to go or something. I'm not resistant, but I will never be a member. Like I will never join or, believe this or that organized religion is the way to salvation. I don't believe that necessarily. I'm just a spiritual dude. I meditate, I believe in the universe, I believe in the law of attraction. I believe that there's life outside of Earth, definitely. So take that as you will. I just believe there's more information out there that we have not been taught as human beings that probably will learn either shortly or maybe never. Once we pass away, we will learn the information. But that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm a student of life. Me and my wife, we moved from Tampa to Atlanta in 2006. So now Atlanta is the home base. My immediate family, my dad, my brother still live out in California. My wife is not really religious. She's not really spiritual. She just kind of is, but it works for us. That's just sort of what we are now. I saw my Jehovah's Witness Bible. I read it every now and then, but more to do research, more to kind of, there's also arguments online about John 1:1 um, God and Jesus being the same thing. And there's so many meaningless arguments to me. Like, I don't see the use in like arguing over religion because what I realized when I was in Tampa, I went to a Catholic mass, I went to an Islamic mosque, I went to a Jewish temple, all for news stories. And what I realized was that people are people, and that the reason why people believe in what they believe in is oftentimes because of our parents. And it doesn't make us right or wrong. It's just a belief. And what I believe in doesn't have to do anything with your beliefs. Don't have to do with my wife's beliefs or my son's beliefs. And I don't believe that our salvation necessarily is tied into our beliefs either. So yeah, that's kind of where I am now.
One of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the channel, and I've told you this before, so I sound like a broken record, you're probably sick of hearing it, but
I
what
love
I
hearing it though. Say it anyways, Bethany.
it's like just take it in. So, but really, I sincerely appreciate the fact that and I saw your video when you were doing like your own, you weren't interviewing somebody, you were just doing your own video, like a
Yeah,
solo video.
I think I was in California kind of recapping. It was
Yes.
like the 1 year anniversary of my blog or my podcast. Yeah.
That's what it was. It was the 1 year. So if you guys go to Amani's channel, which I'm going to leave again in the bio, you can watch this video where he was in California, exactly celebrating the 1 year anniversary of your channel. what I appreciated just basically in that video was that are balanced. You were balanced, you were reasonable, you were open-minded. And we've had this discussion that open-minded doesn't mean you just accept everything and you agree with everything. It just means you're willing to hear different viewpoints. You take in bits of information, you do your research without just immediately shutting down because something's different or you're not sure, maybe it's not your thing. You're at least willing to hear everything, and then you form your own conclusions and you follow your intuition or whatever feels, whatever is best for you. But I really do appreciate that about you because that's not super common. To it, we kind of cling to what we think is right or whatever. So to at least challenge it or be willing to challenge it and then hear different viewpoints and not just shut each other down. I appreciate that about you. That's a good quality.
That might come from my news background too, because in being a reporter, you have to listen to all sorts of stories and your opinion is kind of left out of it. You kind of just are here to be the messenger. So maybe that has something to do with it. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, no one else pays my bills. I don't pay your bills. Like, I'm not responsible for anybody else's salvation. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to experience life and learn the lessons, is what I believe. And within that comes listening to other people's stories and maybe sharing other people's stories. Like you might resonate with my audience in a way that I don't resonate with my audience. And that's why I like to listen to other people's stories.
I hear that. Amen to that. Can I say
Mhm.
that?
Yes, you
Amen
can.
to
Can the
a,
church say, let the church say amen,
a di-
amen.
a different type of amen. So what is your advice, Amani, to a Jehovah's Witness who might be, incognito right now, like figuring things out, questioning, maybe they have doubts, they're PMO, physically in, mentally out, or whatever, or maybe who knows what their situation is. Like, what advice would you have for them?
So I know the conditioning runs deep, right? The looking at apostate material, doing independent research, independent thought. We are made to think. We are made to learn. We are made to take in new information. My mama was a Buddhist. Her sister, when my mama stopped being a Buddhist, her sister did not shun her when my mama decided to stop being a Buddhist. So why would you? It's just inconceivable to me, the whole shunning culture. But don't be afraid to look at, learn, and take in new information. You never know how new information might shape you. I told my son he doesn't like to read, but I'm like, knowledge is in books. So you have to do research. If you have any questions, just look at the facts, look at the history, look at the information that's out there. Make your own sound decision, make your own decision. Don't let the governing body think for you. I mean, you have to think for yourself. That's really what I believe. And that's what I say to somebody who's kind of questioning, maybe they're on the fence, maybe they're feeling some guilt. Armageddon is not coming tomorrow. Armageddon isn't coming. I'm going to say that. I'll say that on the record. There is no Armageddon. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the truth. The elders saying Jehovah's name. I don't think God even really cares what we call him or she. God is not only, I mean, I have so many beliefs, but basically just do research and make your own decisions. It's my best advice to anyone who's sort of thinking about which direction they want to go with their life.
Great advice. You have to have that personal
I almost went
agency.
off, I almost went off on a tangent, but I brought it back.
No, no, that's all good information. That's all good advice, and people should be able to think for themselves, and the Jehovah's Witnesses can't. You and I both know that.
Yeah, they don't.
So,
I
I am
kind of
just,
feel bad because
uh,
my friend who's an elder, I was like, when I sent him the link, he was like, man, I can't look at that. I was like, oh, I forgot. I said, yeah, you better not look at it anyways, because you don't want to know, is what I texted him. And I don't know if he saw the text or not, but it's like they're kind of living in a cloud. And I can't imagine living my whole life just thinking that Armageddon's gonna come, or thinking that God is judging me because you have sex with somebody or you just do normal things. Like, I don't think God is that judgmental. I think the Bible is being used to manipulate. It's been rewritten by humans, and you just need to use your own reasoning to figure it out.
right, exactly. There's nothing wrong with having an anchor, but if there's some kind of spiritual anchor, whatever anchors you, but if something ain't adding up, like
Yeah, and that's not to say there's anything wrong
like
with
common
religion, because
sense.
some
Yeah.
people need religion. But if someone is a Jehovah's Witness, I mean, that is what it is. Like, I can't make them not be a Jehovah's Witness or not believe in it. But just
No,
know
but you're
there's
not asking.
other. Exactly. Just know there's other information out there. There's other things for you to consider. Just be open-minded and consider it.
Well, Amani, thank you so much for coming on the channel today and sharing your words of wisdom several decades out of the cult, living
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. I'm basically a civilian now. I'm a worldly person. I'm a heathen.
Heathen, you heathen. So that's too funny. Check out Amani's channel, Seeds of Awakening. Again, I'll leave it in the bio. If you enjoyed this interview, please like, subscribe, share with somebody who you think might benefit from listening to Amani's interview. And Amani, thank you so much again for coming on Stop the Shunning.
Thanks, Bethany. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
No problem. Good to see you too, man. See you.
Take care.